All right, Brandy, go ahead and introduce our next person.
What a joyous day it is. It's going full speed ahead with all the knowledge. This is the University of Now. So we're kicking butt and taking names. All right. So our next trailblazer is the Chief Executive Officer. His name is Michael Hayworth. He is going to do the talk on WTF is an NFT. I would like to beep that out. What the beep is an NFT? In order to understand this, one must look into the past to see the history of the artistic and technological innovations. By understanding this, we can view, even for the most simplest future, we will look at it like, it's a non fungible. We are at the critical turning point where we look so far into the past, we can all initiate our own artistic and financial renaissance, acting as a Demas TC did for the Da Vinci and Michelangelo and many others. But let's not wait any further and have Michael on. Welcome, Michael Hayworth. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Sandy. It is such an honor. So, in essence,
Michael, we can't quite hear you. Yeah.
one second. Sorry. Let me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So once upon a time, there was two cavemen sitting by a fire, Grog and Urog. Now, Grog told the world's first story. He said, "Grog, I make fire. I do this." And Urog said, "Wow, cool. That's what we're eating for dinner." And see, Grog and Urog decided to write it on a cave. Years later, we are no longer writing on caves. Instead, those very caves have become non-fungible tokens in and of themselves. So it's and we're talking about artificial intelligence. Now, how do you leap from Grog and Urog to modern day? Well, in essence, by definition, we're at AI showbiz. Well, you know what showbiz actually is? Showbiz actually was created based on a community simply built by story. And that's where I'm going to begin my talk today. And first off, Molly's inspiration, once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, so that she could have, "Help me, Obi-Wan. I need your help with directions to the nearest gas station. I'm almost out of gas." "No problem. It's 3 seconds away over here." You are a very epic human being, Molly. And speaking of that, Molly is an epic human being. But let's go to my presentation real quick. Hold on just a second. Let me share screen. Sorry. Do I have sharing screen capabilities, Molly?
Oh, yeah. There you go. We can.
Okay. Now you see the mess that is my computer screen. Hopefully I can bring this up real quick. All right, here we go. So by definition, we are all storytellers. And I'm going to tell eventually the story of these three people, these four people, Bob, Kathleen and Elliot, and Garen. They're all artists, but they're all ideas guys. And by ideas, Bob runs a firm called Ideas Orlando, and it stands for innovation, design, entertainment, art, and storytelling. Garen's an ideas guy based out here in Los Angeles. And the thing is, he's a commercial artist, a rock star, and he does art for rock stars and for everybody else through the power and magic of non-fungible tokens. I'm actually advising him on that. So where does the middle fit in? There used to be a saying, "Will it play in Peoria?" Well, that in essence means, will our stories that we tell, will they be a hit in the Midwest? Will they play in every day? Will everybody relate to it and thus be a hit for us and make money? Well, in essence, that's kind of obsolete. We no longer have vaudeville stars making big motion pictures trying to be stars. Instead, the new future is non-fungible. And the new stories are, will it be a hit in High Point? That's what I would like to say. So Kathleen and Elliot are two of my friends. Kathleen is a high school art teacher. Elliot works for a bank, but he's also an artist. And I won't show you his full portfolio, but it's absolutely mind-blowing. Now, how do you take these three people and put them and fit them in the creative economy? Well, Bob's already in the creative economy. He goes to black tie events wearing a black tie t-shirt, and he's welcomed like a member of royalty. Bob ran a division of Disney Imagineering for years, and eventually it spun off, and that's the company that he has. Kathleen and Elliot, well, they don't realize it, but they're pretty much High Point royalty from my hometown. And through the power of their art, they have changed countless lives. And Garen, of course, changes countless lives here in Hollywood and in Los Angeles and greater. So how are all three connected to the creative economy? Well, in essence, just like Grog said, you know, Ugok, you make fire. I beat deer with stick. We cook over fire. Well, in essence, each one of these people, that was a creative idea. And each one of these people have creative ideas. So what is innovation? Innovation is the destination and the combination of creativity and artistry. Now, when you combine creativity and artistry, you pretty much get an amazing new thing. So what is creativity? Well, creativity is something original, something cool. Now, we're all technologists, so we've all had different cool original ideas, and many of us have pursued them. And it's such an honor to follow each and every one of you. I am deeply, deeply humbled by that.
Michael, would you do us a favor? Will you share your full presentation slide as a push presentation, as if you go into presentation mode?
1 second.
It's right at the top, so you don't see all the other slides, and we can see the full layout. Oh.
Okay, sorry about that. How about now?
That's okay. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So in essence, sorry, hopping ahead a little quick. So let's go all the way back to the non-fungible token universe. Once upon a time, the future is non-fungible, but my name is Michael Hayworth. I wrote a book called the NFT Guidebook. Why? I just wanted to explain to my family members exactly WTF is an NFT. And I uploaded it onto Amazon thinking, okay, my parents will buy it. My parents' friends will buy it. Maybe a couple of my buddies from high school will buy it. 20, 30 people max. And I just released that into the universe. I go, okay, well, if something happens, something happens. So I finish my coffee at the Bean Espresso. I drive home in High Point. 10 minutes takes me to get home. Well, by the time I get home, my barista friend, Bill, frantically calls me and goes, Mike, you'll never believe this. Check Amazon, check Amazon, check Amazon. I thought my Amazon account had been hacked. And instead, this has become #1 blockbuster bestseller. And I am deeply humbled by that, but that's in essence why. I wanted to explain what a non-fungible token was to my family members and to anybody who is curious. So this is a little bit about me through photos. The one on the corner there is a Captain Crunch whistle, known within the hacker community. I used to be a filmmaker after I got caught doing a little bit of hacking, and they decided that I was much better off as a talented filmmaker. So I tried that, and everything came kind of completely 360 when I went to the AFI Digital Content Festival and Lab in 2006 and realized that digital is the future. So I could combine my passion for computers and breaking things and my passion for dissecting art and creativity and filmmaking. Now the corners, the one in the right corner there, this one right here is a picture of me and my grandfather at a preview of my art and technology show. And in essence, while Disney will never admit it, I believe my grandfather might be the inspiration behind the old man from Up. But I joke. But so what WTF is an NFT? Well, we've all heard of it. And to put it into plain, simple terms, let's basically go like this. Fungible. In order to understand what a non-fungible token is, you have to understand that fungible is something like $1 bill. Like if I bet Molly $1 bill says that I will finish this talk on time, well, she would get $1 bill. But let's say she goes, Mike, you know what? You gave a good talk anyway. Here's $1 bill back. Well, now we have an equal exchange of value. Just like if I send a Bitcoin to Brandy and she sends me a Bitcoin back, it might fluctuate in price. However, it's basically an equal value. Now, fungible with classes might be, you know, I'm wearing a Kangol that's size medium. There might be somebody else who wears a Kangol that's extra, extra large or extra, extra small. And that's with class. They're each fungible, but they're the same thing, but they're different classes and different sizes. Non-fungible, works of art, plane tickets, movie tickets, and then, of course, non-fungible tokens, crypto kitties. So non-fungible tokens are unique digital items that are managed with blockchain management. And in essence, digital art, event tickets, domain names, ownership records, anything that can be duplicated, and in essence, that will be put on chain. So here's a history of NFTs in very simple terms. Everyone knows about the Homer Pepe and the CryptoPunks. Experiments with the NFTs began with the emergence of colored coins and different things on the Bitcoin network. So looking at that past, those were the grogs telling the stories by the fire, the NFT hipsters. Now, I happen to be lucky because I was a part of this, not necessarily with those two teams, but in 2016, at that picture I showed you earlier on, each of my works of art at the digital art show were put on the Bitcoin blockchain for 1 Satoshi. And I still have them. I lost the account, so I can never alter it. But it was non-fungible before non-fungible tokens existed. And so I just thought it was cool to put my art on the blockchain. So enter CryptoKitties. CryptoKitties became the NFT mania in 2017, literally broke the Bitcoin block, or excuse me, the Ethereum blockchain. And, you know, it featured cats, additional things. Well, this was great income auto cat, and you could really create consistent, non-stop, non-fungible tokens that you could then deliver. Consistent income through the non-fungible tokens. So you can also split up your content. So I did a top secret, state-of-the-art gathering on NFT research and wanted to say, what does this have to do with AI showbiz? So again, let's go back to the stories of Garen and Bob and the others, which let me get back to that. Sorry. So Bob has a story, Garen has a brand, and Kathleen and Elliot have artists. They want to tell their stories, and they all want to create income autopilot. You see, we are all storytellers, and as storytellers, we create our own economies through non-fungible tokens. Using decentralized finance, those non-fungible tokens are then created and speculated upon. See, Bob taught me this item called net present value. Net present value is pretty much a time machine that says, I have an idea, how much is it worth? And the evil finance guys will go into the evil finance guy cave. And in essence, they'll figure out, okay, minus expenses, this is how much it's going to be worth in 5, 10, 15 years. That's how every theme park is built. That's how every brand is figured out, the valuation, stocks, et cetera, et cetera. So then he also taught me this thing called net present moment. You might have noticed the noise of the ice cream truck in the background, the cars driving by, the kids playing in the background, et cetera, et cetera. Well, in essence, that's life. And I enjoy the net present now. So rather than sit in my fancy office, I'm sitting in my bedroom right now that I'm staying in Los Angeles. And I thought, well, you know, I could have gone to a fancy hotel or something, but I feel the essence of life is the essence of story. And that's the net present moment and the now. So Kathleen and Elliot said to me, Mike, we have art. We only sold our most successful art. I think we sold for like $1,000, but we're not doing it for the money, but we would like to create money. So I said to him, okay, well, send me what you got. I'll turn it into non-fungible tokens and see. Well, now these very non-fungible tokens, people from going back to Peoria, Illinois, there was someone right outside of Peoria, Illinois, who said, oh my God, work is mind-blowing. I'll pay $10,000 for it. So suddenly she has $10,000 worth of Ethereum for something that she worked on for an hour and a half, and she would have normally for the physical item cost about $150, $200. So now you've got this concept of infinite banking for creative artists who never expected the concept before. Now, going back to Garen, Garen had this cool idea. He said, well, you know what? I have this brand, Los Angeles, and it looks similar to the Louis Vuitton design. It's like, I'd like to turn that into an NFT. And I said, okay, cool, let's do it. Wouldn't it be cool if? Yes, but how? Here's how. Cool, let's do it. It's done. That was pretty cool. So in essence, for the creative artists, for the creators, everything can be monetized, and they become now bankers in their own right. And that's why artists, in my argument, have what's called a portfolio. Not to show off, hey, look at how creative I am, how cool I am. It's literally, this is something that has a net present value that once you discover it, you place a value in art, while in the eye of the beholder, value is in the eye of the market. And that market beholder is through net present value. Now, each of these three have creative ideas that they're collaborating together, creating a major brand that will impact the globe. Now, how does this apply to AI? Well, at AI and I, we like to believe that the sky is the limit, but we don't like to put limits on ourselves. So when I initially created AI and I wanted to create a personality kind of like myself, this quirky, eccentric, kind of pop-up, very slightly, annoying personality to be able to create colorful interaction with human beings that you would never believe wasn't a part of the human-to-human interaction. Now, going back to Molly's grand vision for a Obi-Wan Kenobi that will do anything and say anything and be able to execute anything at a moment's notice. Well, we are all Jedi here on May the 4th. And with that, in essence, as being Jedi, we have the balance of good and bad in our power. And by this, I mean, we can take whatever creative ideas we have, and if we only value it as, oh, look at how much money we can make, it becomes worthless. Because to quote Satoshi Nakamoto, money is worthless. The mutual positive exchange of value is priceless. So as creators, as storytellers, as designers, as entertainers, as technologists, as artists, as innovative people, we have an obligation, the world's foremost obligation, to change the world for the positive and to take these creative artists, as obscure as Kathleen and Elliott might be, and turn them into major global brands, and to take Garen and make it such that, well, not everybody in High Point or Peoria might have heard of his work. His music has been heard throughout the globe, but now his work is going to touch the lives of countless others through museums, through digital museums, through non-fungible tokens. So what's the future of NFTs? Well, ultimately, the future of NFTs is the same story that Kathleen and Elliott have. They had never heard of an NFT before 2 years ago. And I was sitting at their house on their couch drinking beers on a Friday night. And I said, hey, have you heard of this NFT thing? And they're like, what the heck is an NFT? And I go, well, this is the non-fungible token. It's the future. I go, man, that's a crypto kitty. What the heck is this? This is ridiculous. You're never done. And he's like, no, you don't understand. It doesn't make sense now. It doesn't have to. Because in the future, you'll go, wow, I remember the time that Michael Hayworth told me about this thing called a non-fungible token. And luckily, cut to this week, I've sold many of their non-fungible tokens. Same with Bob's, same with Garen's. Because as storytellers, it doesn't matter whether the story is dramatic or whether the story is serious or whether the story is tragic or comedic. As storytellers, it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. Past, present, future. And the future is non-fungible, and I can't wait for it. I am deeply humbled to be here. I'm deeply grateful to be here. And with that in mind, if there's any questions, I yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Hello, Michael. It is so good to see you in real life on Zoom, not on Clubhouse.
Good evening, good afternoon. How are you doing, Adrian?
I am phenomenal. So I'm so glad that you came and for answering the question that everybody has. I almost feel like we might have wanted to start the day with what the is an NFT? You and I get that question daily on Clubhouse.
Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Not only daily, but I get it everywhere I go. On my trip to Los Angeles, I probably got that question asked to me from everybody, from an old Hispanic lady who barely spoke English. Excuse me, Senor Hayworth, ¿qué es un NFT? ¿Qué es un NFT? All the way up to the executive at Paramount. So just
yes. So I'm going to deep dive into something that you said, because this is really the key to the whole thing. You just sold some NFTs. How did you do that? Because I have NFTs up that went up for Titanic Day that are like $50, but it was $253 in gas, so nothing is sold. So what was your process for taking these unknown artists and getting them up, minted in a marketplace, and key piece sold? What did you do?
Well, in essence, it was quite simple. I'm not going to give away the secret sauce, but any obscure artist, you have to condone value. It's just like anything else. Now, Adrian, if I tell you I'm going to sell you this house I'm currently staying in because it's got memories, it's got this, you might go, okay, I don't care about that. It might be in neighborhood. I don't care about blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But where it comes from is I could be in the middle of nowhere. I could be in Walla Walla, Washington, or in Mexico, in the middle of like some random Mexico desert. And if I say, hey, this is the spot where Walt Disney was on a vision quest, and he said, you know what? I have an idea. I'm going to fly over the coast of Florida. I'm going to fly over Florida. And if I find an island in the center of a lake, that's where the happiest place on earth is going to be. And that's where my Florida project is going to be. Well, in essence, that's what happened in this random desert town. And if I show you the spot, suddenly that spot becomes much more valuable. And suddenly that value is all because of a story. So when it comes to Kathleen and Elliot, the obscure artists, who cares about them? You know, blah, 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 blah. I have a Picasso. Who needs a Kathleen and Elliot? Well, you go, well, look, there's value in story. And when you tell Kathleen and Elliot's story, you suddenly realize they're just as blue chip as IBM is. It's just you can get them when they were a two-person startup instead of a multinational corporation.
Oh.
And when you condone that, as in essence, long story short, you realize that, hey, what's $200 in gas fees if I can have something that's going to deliver me $1 million in income every year? And at that point, money is worthless, to go back to what Satoshi said, because it's on income autopilot. It's like, well, it's not like I have to work at minimum wage doing this absolute hellish job. Now it's completely automated. And basically these artists, like Garen had a very, very good quote. He said, I don't make money to make art, and I don't make art to make money. I make art to sell for money so that I can free up enough time to be able to create a new work of art and create more money from that, so I can create even more free time to create even more art, which he in of itself was paraphrasing Walt Disney, who said, we don't make money to make movies, we make movies to make money. Or excuse me, we don't make movies to make money, we make money to make movies. And it's art for art's sake. Well, creativity for the sake of creativity, now connected with story, all you have to do is say, hey, this is worth it, guys. You might not think it now. It might not be worth a lot now, but trust me, the net present value of this, connected with this story, oh my.
Wow. Okay.
It's that.
I am totally catching what you are putting down, and we're going to have a conversation, because I have a whole series called Revolution 2000 that are NFTs, which is basically me purging my lockdown 2020 PTSD. So they're actually really good.
Oh, absolutely. You got it. It's funny that you mentioned Revolution, because that was the name of my very first student film in 1999.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So there has to be some serendipity here. So absolutely. Thank you, Adrian.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. I'm so happy that you were here. And again, I'm so happy to see your bright, shiny face, like in person. I've only ever heard your voice for the last few months.
Well, it's good to be here. I wish I could be much more beautiful and supermodel-esque in presentation quality. However, I felt I was meeting with artists all day, all morning long, and presenting, trying to put together my presentations. I gotta get it perfect. I gotta get it perfect. I gotta get it perfect. And then my computer crashed. I'm like, oh no, I gotta put it on my cell phone. And then at that point, I was like, you know what? It's all about the story.
Yeah.
You know, this higher power told me it's all about the story. So here's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It is, and you know what? That was the biggest aha I got out of that, because I mean, when it comes to like the technical aspects of how do you design a blockchain NFT launch, or how do you build a community, or how do you mint it, like I got that.
Oh
But
yeah. Everybody can get the how-to. It's that if you don't tell a story with it, you know, I mean, what there's a guy that wrote an entire book around it, Peter Gruber, telling to win. You gotta tell the story, and if you don't, then all of showbiz is just a bunch of ones and zeros, and nobody cares about a bunch of binary ones and zeros. Instead, if you go, once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, there was this guy named Luke Skywalker, and he did this really cool thing, and there were aliens, and there was this dog thing that was like, why? And then suddenly it's like, wait a second, this is cool. And then you take John Williams' score, and it's like, well, I think there's going to be a religion around this, and you know, and sure, here we are in the 21st century, and Jedi's a thing, you know.
Well, I think that's a perfect moment for me to chime in. I love that you're talking about Star Wars. Of course, my whole dream is Obi-Wan Kenobi in the palm of your hand to help you with anything, anywhere, anytime. Michael, I'm so delighted that you joined us, and I have a fun story before I introduce the keynote, which is coming up in just a moment here. And that is, you know, having to do with Michael. I heard about his bestseller right after it came out, and I thought, I wonder how I could get in touch with him, you know, to speak. And then I was Googling your name, and somehow my Facebook Messenger popped up, and turns out Michael was at the very first AI Showbiz. And remembers that, and just had the nicest things to say when I reached out to him, and he flew all this way to be here for the Earth Day event. And I just love everything you shared today. Story is where it's at, and I do agree that the future is non-fungible tokens. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Molly. You're the best. And for putting on this event, you're such an epic human being. And I don't believe we don't have a single trailblazer and epic human being here. And we are truly changing the world. And I'm just the storyteller and the eccentric artist going, hey, isn't this cool? Let's do this. You know, I'm the cheerleader pretty much, which I guess sometimes you need that in your team.
Oh, yes. But I would put forth that you are much more than just the cheerleader. Your contributions to this arena have been significant, including translating it into everyday words for the layman, for everyone who doesn't get it. So they will no longer say after they read your book, a WTF will go away, because they'll go, I got it.
Well, in essence, that non-fungible token, my dad was the first to say, hey, Mike, WTF is this NFT thing. I still don't get it. I still don't get it. And I go, Dad, I tell you what, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm going to explain it to Mom and Dad in simple terms, and I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to write this book. It's going to be cool. It's going to only sell a couple copies, and hopefully it'll explain it to you. Well, long story short, it became a bestseller, which I'm not tooting my own horn about because I was still blown away from that. But my dad came up to me and goes, Mike, I read your book thingy on that Kindle majig that you gave me. And I think I know what an NFT is now. Can I be an NFT? And then on on Earth Day, when I was in Hollow Portal form, or in Portal form, my dad said, oh my God, I now get it. We're all going to be NFTs at some point, and that's going to preserve our legacy forever.
Oh, that's so true. And that is a great note to finish up here on. Michael, thank you so much for that riveting, fascinating